Hi, you all. Welcome to e-commerce. An overview of e-commerce project is what we are doing. This is social media for education, which we are named as Check My Universe. This course is available only on Check My Universe platform because this is a service we provide to our lovely students and learners out there. So the contents of this course are we're going to just give a glance at it. What is e-commerce? What are different kinds, different types, and how can you plan? What are estimation breakdown? What and how you can finish and start or plan e-commerce project. Now, when we got to define it, defining e-commerce is, I think most of you might be familiar that doing business electronically is called e-commerce, commonly known as e-commerce because it is selling and buying on internet, online, as we say, purchase and selling online. So any device you use and you're using internet and you receive and send payments online, that's particularly a definition of e-commerce. It could be any transaction that's taking place. It could be a physical product you're purchasing, or it could be any activity, or it's a banking. It's all a part of e-commerce. Why e-commerce? Now, it is not new to us that 95% of purchases that are done will be only online by 2040. And during the pandemic, we just had seen and has experienced how we are using internet as for everything. We have any ritual, any birthdays, any shopping, teaching, learning, singing, everything is online. And by 2040, 95% of all the purchases also will be online. And I won't be surprised if its number is saying 99%. Finance Online has this description. Data and share market analysis for 2020 will be around 35% of Google product searches, and that will be converted into purchases just in 5 days. And according to Statista, every sales figure is expected to grow by 22% in another couple of years from the current 14%. But I think these numbers will be higher because of the situation we are into right now. So let's see an example. Here's a beautiful graph of Statistica. When you see 2014, the e-commerce scenario is already started in trillions. It was 1.3 trillion, and by 2021, it's expected to be 4.9 trillion. But I am assuming that because of the pandemic and the situation of COVID-19, this number might be way higher than around above 5 trillion and beyond. If you will read today's share market and the company valuation of the companies like Apple and Google, your jaw will drop at the worth of trillions of dollars because of the situation of pandemic. So let's see who can use e-commerce, or anyone who wants to have a business online. It could be small businesses, large retailers, corporations, independent freelancers, consultants. With that said, any business which is already having a store, which is a physical store, can always transition into making their business as e-commerce. All they need is a website, have a payment gateway to receive and send payments, and if there is a physical item that they are delivering, they need a physical way to deliver the product to the customer. Now, with that said, what are different kinds of e-commerce businesses? As we keep saying, there's physical goods. Sometimes we just sell services where you don't have to actually physically deliver, but things come across in your inbox, or you sign up or log in into their apps like banking services, fintech services, and there is so many other traveling services also provided online, where you get your tickets. For example, when it is booked, it is delivered in your inbox or messages. You can also sell products like ebooks, audiobooks, graphics, and there's so much more. Even the restaurants have gotten their delivery apps, so it is almost even food is there for you, right? Everything is there. So you can have physical goods, services, or digital products. Business to business or B2C, meaning from business to consumers, directly consumers consume it. Or there is another way where there is consumers who contact the business, and consumers also contacting other consumers, where there is a flow of information. And there is other very common one is government e-commerce, where it is related to government, schools, districts, or anything which is related to the municipality, corporations, and city work and so on, where they use the e-commerce to send in information, receive orders, and so on. Where does e-commerce takes place? So this is now very bizarre question, but yes, it takes place online. It is an online store. People come and visit your online store instead of physically coming and visiting you. Shopify, Magento, Salesforce, WooCommerce, Oracle are all these different examples where you can actually have all-in-one e-commerce solution where you don't actually have to build your businesses separately. Unless you want a customized solution, you can always use this online e-commerce platforms and build your own existing business into these beautiful solutions from Shopify, Magento, and so on. It's very easy. All you need to do is have a fully hosted solution, and you can start with small, and they have different plans. If you're really looking for, these are three very common ones, the top three that you are looking here: Shopify, Magento, and so on. Salesforce also has very good solutions, and you can scale easily. Now going next forward onwards, you have examples where you have online market, which Amazon, eBay, Alibaba. These are all very Upwork, and there's so many other freelancer and networking sites. Social media platforms, like you have brand new social media for education. That's our site, and then there is already existing social media, which are giant old social media platforms that we have, like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, of course. And Check My Universe is related to education, where soon you will see it popular across people who are learners, and also school going kids and the high schoolers and college students who will actually study using social media for education. It's getting very popular. How we are taking example of Amazon, and it's such an unstoppable run it has gotten into. Look at this success story. In 1996, Jeff Bezos started this in his garage. It is very popular to have businesses in the United States in their garage. And when it started at $0, and with all the hard work, it took until around 2004 that it started getting more and more customer base, and in 2012 it hit the revenue of 50 billion, and then henceforth there was no looking back. And as you see, in 4 years time, the revenue was double, 100 billion, and it went on and on, and it is forecasted to have its revenue around 390 to 400 billion, especially during this COVID situation. So that's a success story of any e-commerce business. Also, there is 7.7% retailers where you find is dominating in the US market. Strong revenue system. They have expanded their hands and reached into not only online store for the marketplace, but they have subscription based model where they get 17 billion of dollars. They get physical stores, they get around 14, but you see their cloud services has dramatically given an increased revenue to them, which is around 25 billion. And of course, online store is the biggest ever in the e-commerce history, 122 billion. So that's a very strong product, with all the diversification of having the digital products and cloud system, and it's still growing. It has also gotten somewhere into groceries and fashion, and it's not a small amount. To have 25 to 24 billion in that small niche of fashion and groceries. So that's a kind of e-commerce business as people see. So now let's see how to develop an e-commerce project. So e-commerce project usually is based upon the selling of the products and services, which has a project communication, which has a business plan, which is suitable team, and so on so forth, other details as to how to develop an e-commerce project. Now let's see the project communication. Now if you are trying to do the project and you want to establish a communication, there is face to face, of course. What you need to do is to conduct workshop for the parties who are involved. Interaction will help you understand what is required for your e-commerce business. A communication plan is very important in the e-commerce project because everything is so virtual. It's important you have, say for example, emails or phone number for the consumers to reach as and when there is a requirement. So there is so many other things that goes into planning, and that's called communication planning. Now if you go to the next, what your business plan must give you answers for when you are thinking about e-commerce business. Number one, what could be your business goals? My business goals, say for example, you have set up a business cosmetics industry and you want to sell your cosmetic products, lipsticks, makeup, foundation, cream, so on. So you have to first establish a goal. Make yourself beautiful, XYZ product. What type of website is required? If it is a product selling, then you have to have a cart, you need to have the specifications, the pictures, the color criteria, and the date when it will be sent out, or if there is shipping charges that are. So a different type of website is required for different kind of business goal. For example, I'm continuing with the example of cosmetic industry so that it gives you more sense when we say how to plan business plan for your e-commerce. What are the design and technology requirements? Is it a complicated tech product? Do you need a specialized technology or just a regular website? It's going to make a huge difference on what kind of design and technology you have. The number 4 is what must be your website content? In order to create or generate traffic, there is a lot of content sometimes required so that your SEO works wonders for you and brings more traffic. Bringing more traffic meaning bringing more people to visit it, and so that they can see and love it and buy it. Do you have any website prototype? It's a good idea to have a general prototype, understanding as to what you exactly having your needs. A business plan define what exactly the client will. So the project estimation of any e-commerce project, if you want to estimate yourself or you want to estimate for your client, estimation methods and procedures are highly different for different kind of projects. For cosmetics, it might be simple because it's just a different cosmetic. You create a website which is a general Shopify or Magento website. Sometimes your project might be complicated and it needs a customized solution. Then you can talk to your technology team and you need to build it from scratch. Assess the key constraint you will be requiring. You have, what's your budget? What's in your pocket? How much are you spending? What time are you trying to put in? 3 main methods to assess your e-commerce is, I would say, task-based assessment, where how much is the task? How much is this project task to be completed? Is, say, I want a cart, I want a checkout, I want a delivery. These 3 components. Say for example, that's task based. Benchmark based, a certain standard is set and it's benchmark based. Tool based assessment is based on the tools that this given e-commerce project might be using so that it can successfully use the tool and implement the e-commerce business. Now with that said, that is very important. Task based assessment is the method where it is web-based project, where on the website you have small chunk or task that you implement and execute with certain number of hours and cost. That becomes easy for you to do small chunk and then pay off for that small chunk of your website, or your client. If you have a client that you're working for, it's easy for the client to pay when it is task based. Benchmark based usually has old project, current project, and the estimation is done according to whatever is established benchmark, and then they keep on building on from that existing benchmark, which is an established website. However, tool based method, it varies the projections used to create time and cost. So it depends totally on the estimation tools that the client may want to use or you want to use to execute that e-commerce. Now let's see about the team and channel. How do you understand what kind of team is required? What kind of latest technology is required? Choose the right platform so that you can reach out. There are different industries and the different industries have different kind of target audience. And accordingly, you will also have to figure out the marketing channel preferences and needs. Again, the kind of product you have is going to change a lot of this requirement about the skill teams, about the technologies, about the target audience and the marketing channel. This all will change according to the project you have. Now the project breakdown will be, there is a research and planning that you need to conduct, and you got to prioritize what you want to first research and establish that as your feature, and then increase it stuff later on. But you have to have must-haves in your research first. Solution design involves around involves wireframes. It involves site maps and user workflow, where you will actually understand the entire design of your project by looking at that solution design or the plan or maps. The web design again focuses how your homepage would look, how much color, how much space, and so on. Front-end development mainly defines how much user experience is needed. So you have to break down these few things. Sometimes some people just get into a simple design and just launch their e-commerce project with a very basic, especially if you're a back-end development is very important, so you can manage your own back-end till you scale up and grow your business, like payments and security essentials and so on. Once you scale and your business is bigger, you can automate your CMS. Content writing is very important. It creates content about the product you have, what you want to describe, what categories you want to create, and the client may provide you content. Say for example, in the industry of cosmetic, they want to describe that we have 4 broad categories of lipsticks, and we have 10 different lip glosses, and then so on and so forth. There might be content which is that needs to be created for the website, and the testing will be done, and then eventually after every functionality takes place, and your website can go live. With that go live said, and the project breakdown which I gave you is looking that simple, but it's as much difficult if you actually start doing this process. So e-commerce could be easy depending on what kind of technology team and the managers and your insight, and how simple or how complicated your project of e-commerce is. Now let's talk about project deadline. You have to have reasonable deadline in your mind, that couple of months or 6 to 8 months if it's a complicated project. So you have to understand what are the consequences if the deadline is missed. Are you going to be okay to keep it flexible? You have to analyze the hidden risk as to what is the contingency plan, or plan A is failed, now plan B, or what is the flexibility of tracking tool, and to see how much your team is performing. So there needs to be a methodical way of conducting this brief meetings with your team members, and to keep a status check on the project, and keep a track of what are the difficulties, issues, or the concerns about this project. Thorough understanding of the project is a very center of any business which is doing e-commerce. If you have detailed understanding of what you want in there, and what you want to compromise and still keep your product going, is very important. So deadline is something which you need to understand, because when it comes to technology, sometimes a project gets delayed, and what is your criteria if it gets delayed. Full to Sarita KP, who's done a course outline, has created this beautiful content, and the voice that you're hearing, the beautiful voice, is I'm Mona Chauhan. I'm the founder of Social Media for Education. This course is available on Check My Universe, and would love to offer you this course, which is a paid course, and I really appreciate you all taking this time to understand about e-commerce, and I hope you'll be a little motivated to scratch down from some of the information for your project and get started to build your e-commerce website. And would love to hear your comments. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to info@checkmyuniverse.com. I would love to hear from you. Take care and see you for now.